Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back at it again to make another video on what Sean James was talking about tonight about how pretty much how black boys and black men have to pretty much avoid the black community as a collective if they hope to gain any kind of success in life. And you know what I'm saying? He was pretty much talking about, how he was a teenage boy back in the 80s, and all the pitfalls that he had to avoid, growing up in the NYC, basically avoiding ninjas. And even though I didn't watch it in its entirety, I mean, I was going to, but I really didn't see the point in doing so, because as a black man who pretty much had to do the same thing, I can already relate. So I kind of already see where it's going anyway. Like it's the classic story of the I dare say of the black referees of America. Because I didn't get to make that video. I ended up deleting it. But I look at black boys and black men who don't engage in these dumbass nigger stereotypes that Babylon and 12 families have set for us. I see it's almost as the referees, the racial referees of America. And when you think about it, when you think about like a basketball game or even a football game, y'all do notice that even with the crowd, the spectators, the players, and everything, I'm willing to bet the referee probably has the loneliest job out there when he's refereeing either a basketball game or refereeing a football game. He's the only dude out there whenever he has to make a call. And he's among the people, he's among the players, he's among the fans, but he's not, at the end of the day, he's not one of them. He's not a basketball player. He's just managing the course that's set in motion as far as the teams having at it, going at it. And that's pretty much us. And let me take it from let me tell y'all from my own experience. Yes, it's very much lonely. It's very much a path not often taken, not often walked. A path that results in, if you ain't got the heart for it, it results in loneliness. It results in ostracization, if that's a word, being ostracized. And needless to say, it results in a lot of ridicule. Because, and it's not just, I don't even think it's so much as the, you know what I'm saying, black world, like among the races, period. When you isolate yourself, people just have this thing about, there's just this thing about people who stay to themselves, and, this element of human nature where they just feel the need to just fuck with you. And which is, I find so crazy, because I always thought it was the quiet ones who be walking up in schools and shooting up the places. So, I mean, if that's the case, you would think, theoretically, that the last thing you want to be doing is being up there fucking with the quiet kid, or fucking with the kid who stays to themselves or just stays out the way type shit. Ain't out there ruffling up the feathers and making a whole lot of noise type shit. But I would tell you, bro, as rough as it was, as tough as it was, growing up, being a black kid in Memphis, of all places, If I could do that shit all over again, Lord knows I would. Because this really is a message for the black youth. You know, you don't have to listen to a weirdo like me. You don't have to do that. You can get out there, you know, get your fame, get your clout, be out here, you know, doing the most, be a YN, you know, getting on social media, you know, stacking, you know, claiming your set. You can get out here and do that. You don't have to be a weirdo like me. You don't have to be somebody who willingly chose to be an outcast, basically. Because, you know, I was just thinking back when, you know, I was a YN, you know, back in the 90s and shit, how I was basically given the option to be among, I guess you can say, be among the in crowd, be one of the cool kids. And the fact that that initiation process was what it was, and that's how I had to be one of the cool kids, it just speaks volumes to the nature of what Memphis turned into. And you know, it's so crazy too, because it starts so subtle, right? It starts so subtle. First it's the fights, then it's it's going in the store stealing. Next thing you know, it's gangs. Next thing you know, you robbing. Next thing you know, you having shootouts with the ops. Because as a collective, as black boys and black men, those are our two options, which are either give in to the stereotypes or not give in to the stereotypes and be ostracized, because society wants you. And here's the thing that fucks me up so much. Society literally wants you to go into those stereotypes, to be those stereotypes. Because y'all know what I'm talking about. Look how visceral society gets when they see that you're not the typical Pookie and Ray Ray. You're not the typical thug ass nigga who's been in and out of, you know, in and out of the pen, or a nigga who's just 6 feet under due to your goofy ass lifestyle. You know, y'all call it being a thug. I just call it being a goofy. Being a goofy. And you know what I'm saying? It's so wild, right? And it's almost like the natural instinct and impulse of self-preservation doesn't occur to most black kids. Or it's either that or the peer pressure is so strong that it's almost like, you know, I ain't got no other choice type shit. It's either do this or, you know, these little niggas are just gonna keep fucking with me. Because with me, you know, I ain't get into a whole lot of fights growing up, but damn if I wasn't persecuted by, you guessed it, niggas who had it out for me just cause. Because I tell anybody, you know, the way the thing is, even if you was on some cool type shit, on some like I'm, you know, popular kid, or you one of the popular kids type shit, now these very same niggas would be hating on you. So I mean, that's just something that you know, I kind of like, it kind of just kicked in. Like that's just something that just really occurred to me for real. Like I didn't really have to go too far to realize that basically you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. But you really damned if you get out here and live up to the like basically nigga stereotypes. Being a goon, being a thug, being a thief. Being a goofy. Being a Keisha pleaser. Doing the most to make Keisha get all riled up and excited and shit. I'm stuck in a whole cesspool full of niggas. I lived it, bro. I'm telling you, I lived it. Bro, you can't tell me nothing. I lived it, fam. I know what it's like. And not to mention, we talking about this is Memphis we talking about, and that's why these goofies out here in Denver. I'm like, bro, they be trying to. It's like they be trying to show a nigga. I'm like, nigga, you preaching to the choir. You showing me the very same shit that not only did I get away from, but I vowed to stay away from. I vowed to stay away from. But they just doing it in their own goofy ass Denver, Colorado type shit. And being a Memphis nigga, that shit weird as a motherfucker. On some goofball ass shit. Cause like I said, back then, when my time, it was more like they was doing the most. It was more, it wasn't even on some drugs type shit. It was like these little bastards basically wanted you to steal and fight. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this in past videos about how these very same quote unquote boys, these kids, what they turned out to once they grew up or got older. I can't even say grew up, just got older. I mean, I imagine some stopped doing that shit and probably found a Makisha and got hitched with her, had a baby by her, and now he's stuck on child support. Again, stereotype that they want us to fall for. Because, that's what Keisha requires. We know that. But a lot of these niggas, I mean, I can attest to this, my brother can attest to this. A lot of these niggas found themselves in the grave, man, before they even turned 25. And I say this as a 39-year-old, just about 6 months away from 40. Because even now, where I'm practically an unk, I'm definitely unk status. If you got folks 17 to 25 claiming to be unk, if that's the case, I'm probably grandpa type shit, and I ain't even 40 yet. Because my brother talked about these little badass little bastards, calling themselves being some vice lords. Because I think at Wooddale, now don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty positive, dead ass positive, that Wooddale was mostly GDs. Because, even with the presence of Bloods and Crips in Memphis, I'll tell anybody, Memphis is really a VL city, is a vice lord city. Because that's the number one gang members you're gonna find down there is vice lords. Then after that, it's gonna be small pockets or lesser pockets anyway, of gangster disciples, GDs. Then after that, you got your little wannabe, what I'm saying, your little wannabe Bloods and Crips type shit. But yeah, little niggas doing the most. It started there. It started, I mean, and we witnessed it. We witnessed them. And how they come around fucking with us. Probably again trying to get some from Keisha. And mind you now, I'm not even talking about in the damn 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like middle school type shit. Bro, I'm talking about 4th grade and 5th grade type shit. And at the most 6th grade, because my elementary school was actually it extended to the 6th grade, so it wasn't until 7th grade that I actually got in middle school. But some middle schools, actually do have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. But my elementary school went up to the 6th grade, so I was still in elementary school in the 6th grade. I'm kind of stoked that we're only 16 minutes in, because I got quite a bit to say about this. It's 10 already. I really should be getting ready for bed, but that's all right, because I got a few more workouts to do. I didn't cook today except for, I cooked breakfast, but, besides that, I'm saying I ain't really do a whole lot. I wasn't trying to do a whole lot. Said I cooked borscht. I was supposed to, matter of fact, I was supposed to have been cooking ribs and some legs of lamb type shit. But I messed around. I bought this damn, I bought this damn snow cone machine. And that was only $200. That wasn't a whole lot. But what really killed me, what really killed me was all the damn snow cone syrup that I had to buy individually. I was like, how the fuck that killed me? Because that shit was damn near. It didn't get up to 400, but it damn near got up to 400. I'm like, damn, man. So, needless to say, I'm going to be broke for the rest of the week. So, yeah, just to get off that tangent. So, what that involves, you being somebody, like you being a prominent young man who's trying to tip the scales, trying to, like I said, it takes me back. Let me take y'all back. And I'm pretty sure we've talked about this. I know in the archives, I don't know which video, because I know it's been since forever, but I talked about being a YN, seeing, and we're talking about the 90s, right? Seeing the videos, and I was always a scaredy cat anyway. And being a scaredy cat, they say fear is healthy. They do say fear is healthy, where they talk about face your fears. There's a reason why it's good to be fearful of some things, because it shouldn't be normal to want to get, it shouldn't be normal as a 10-year-old boy to be facing a gangbanger trying to blow your brains out. But, I mean, look at the streets of Chicago. It happens all the time down there. Little kids and shit getting their beaks blown off. I mean, things that you would think the black community would find completely irreprehensible, just abominable. And that's why, and that's the disgust, that's the outrage, the true outrage that as a collective we should be expressing. We should. And that why we just find the conditions of the black community completely unacceptable. Because what good is a goddamn community that can't even protect its own goddamn youth? From savages doing shit like that. From savages murdering babies and shit. We know what it is. We know what goes on in the community. I don't know. I've only seen it 50 million times. I can't tell you how many times I've seen videos, or I've seen news stories back in Memphis alone, much less the rest of the country where Glocktavius and Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha live, of them beating the brakes off of a little kid, beating them within the inch of their lives, or just beating them to death because the little kid was scared and he peed on himself, or he ate a piece of Glocktavius's cheesecake. And the fact that Keisha's evolution, Keisha's abnormal evolution, right? Because, there's a branch, there's already a branch in psychology called abnormal psychology. Y'all probably tripping. I know I'm tripping. That damn sure needs to be, and I don't know if there is, but that damn sure needs to be a branch of science that's basically abnormal genetics and abnormal evolution, bro. There needs to be. It has to be. Because, we already got abnormal psychology. Well, you talking about some troglodyte, knuckle dragon, cave dweller type shit. And this is coming from a group of people who claim to be 100% human. I wouldn't be so sure about that, having experienced the community, bruh. I wouldn't be so quick to gloat about all black folks being the original humans. After all the inhumane, bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm talking about little kids being shot and thrown in plastic bags type shit and thrown in the Mississippi River type shit. Newborns, bro. And yeah, it's getting graphic. It's ugly. And if it's pissing you off, it should piss you off. Because that's what's going on down there. That's why I had to get away from them savages. Because that's what those little bastards, when we was growing up, grew up into. And that's my point. So it's a real, you know what I'm saying? And I just may have been just wise beyond my years, and nobody else is going to acknowledge that. So I guess I'm just going to have to acknowledge that shit. That as a 10-year-old boy, in his preteens, growing up in the 90s and seeing the plights of the black man based off the images that I was seeing on the TV, sneak watching movies like Tales from the Hood that, my dad would be watching. And I kind of sort of go down there and sneak. I basically, sneak watch. Well, dad was in the den grading papers because, he was a teacher. So, some nights, especially like weekends, he'd be up in the middle of the night or damn near the middle of the night, watching, not watching flicks or nothing, but like watching, some pretty, fucked up movies. And, with me being a shelter kid, I wasn't supposed to know about any of these things. And if I had grown up and I never did go back in time and watch the movies of the 90s, like Tales from the Hood, because I did that shit as soon as I turned 18. So I was doing that back in the early 2000s. And as fucked up as these movies were, they depicted a stigma of who the black man is and how America perceives the black man should be. This is how the black man is, as well as this is how he should be. However, back in the 90s, and this proves that I'm a Memphis ninja. Not your, because I'm telling you, fam, this is some, yo Pooh Shiesties, yo Lil Glocks, yo, whatever savages are down there, whatever shines are down there in Memphis proclaiming whoever. Them little niggas don't know about what I'm about to tell y'all. They don't know about this shit. Back in the early 90s, there was this, and I actually found it on YouTube too. That's the crazy part. It was some Baptist church commercial where the pastor pretty much said, get dope out your veins and hope in your brain. I know I've said this somewhere in one of my archives, in one of my videos, about this, basically this Southern Baptist pastor talking about get dope out your vein and hope in your brain. You will never get nowhere smoking the pipe. Never. You want to get your lesson together, be smart in school? Get away from the drugs. Get away from the in crowd. Get it close to God. Y'all know I'm a Memphis ninja just off of that, man. Y'all know I am. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And you know what I'm saying? I was just watching, because this kind of goes back to what I was talking about my partner, passing away. Because he was a little party boy, and with me saying that, he was literally the same age my father was, but he was out here doing the most, fucking with these crazy ass drugs out here, and messed around and stretched his damn self out. I've been telling a lot of folks back home about that, and I was telling them about everything that happened, everything that I seen, and how I got remembrance from Ruach HaKodesh about my youth pastor, particularly this brother by the name of Elder King, who told us. And I specifically remember, as a 14-year-old boy, when we was basically having a youth service about your sin finding you out, like that scripture that talks about your sin finding you out. So yeah. Y'all have to forgive me. I kind of lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something. But pretty much, since I have, had a blind moment, it's not so much I forgot. I know I just told y'all about that Southern Baptist pastor, basically telling, if you want to get your lesson and be smart in school. But yeah, like getting away from the drugs, getting away from the in crowd. And as a black man, as a collective, it's sad, it's lonely sometimes. Girls ain't gonna be feeling you, because you ain't out there doing the most. You ain't doing nothing to get them excited and giddy and all types of shit. And I figure, even as a little kid, it ain't like it's lost on me that I'm pretty sure these broads don't like me because I'm keeping quiet and keeping to myself, because I'm not out here doing the most. I'm not out here being a whole weirdo. Well, to them, I am being a weirdo, because I ain't, basically I'm not being a goofy. And sure, and lo and behold, I would find out years later that, when it comes to mating rituals with the members of the opposite sex, males tend to, not just human males, but, throughout, mammal biology, period, mammals be out here doing the most. Apes be fighting apes, lions be fighting lions, competing for harem rights and shit. So how much more, or how much less humans, right? Of course. Don't surprise me. So it was almost like realizing that, and me already naturally being a scaredy cat, being fearful of consequences and all that other shit, and and those were dire consequences. It's not like It's not like it would have been sweet if I got out here with these little bastards, stole something, or got into it with some other little niggas, and, it's going to be sweet. Consequences were going to follow. And it's so crazy too, man. It's crazy, y'all, how like they say, that's another thing I heard growing up back in the 90s, that it takes a village to raise a child, because it wasn't just my parents that I was accountable to. And I had, unlike many of these little black bastards, I had a mother and a father that I had to answer to. So if I was out there doing the most, I would have got my ass whooped by them, first and foremost. But not only did I have to answer to them, I had to answer to other members of my family, because basically my aunties and uncles, because grandma had a lot of kids, and those kids, amongst whom were brothers and sisters, were my aunties and uncles. Because it's like they say, and this never happened, but back in the day, and I know this definitely don't pertain in this wild ass period of 2025. I know it don't. But back in the day, if you was a little kid and you did something fucked up, pretty much everybody on the block got a piece of your ass. That's just what it was. Your mama whooped your ass, then she would tell your father, he'd whoop your ass, and then he'd go and tell grandma. So, you had a whole lineup of ass whoopings waiting for you. And I'm talking about you so much as stole a piece of candy, which is one of the things I did one time. And I remember I didn't get my ass whooped, granted, but no, I was held, my feet was held to the fire. I was held accountable for that. Calling myself trying to be a badass kid, and I didn't even think nothing of it. But nigger culture tells you that it's okay to take something that you didn't pay for, that you have no intentions of paying for, and put it in your pocket and walk out. And see, for the life of me, and even though I did that once, right, and I never did it again, because I got, like I said, oddly enough, it's like, I want to say it was Bill Bellamy who said this. You know how sometimes, like you would get your ass whooped for like frivolous shit, but if you really did something bad, that would be the time you wouldn't get your ass whooped. To me, to this day, that shit is crazy. You would think that would have been the ass whooping of your life. But those would be the times where you wouldn't get fucked up. You would just get, scolded. Like, they would be so appalled, they wouldn't even bother with beating your ass. Oh, shit, what was I finna say? Damn, I'm having all these blonde moments, y'all. Y'all forgive me. Because I be having these epiphanies and shit. Next thing you know, my mind just goes blank. Guess I am getting a little senile and shit. But, yeah. That basically, seeing all that was almost like, it's so crazy too. Because seeing all that, even before I learned of the scripture, it was almost like, that was almost like God's way, even before I ran into that scripture about choosing life and choosing death. That scripture where he says, I set this day against you to choose life or choose death. And he gives us the answer to the question. He gives us the answer to the test. He says, choose life. So the dividing line between us and them YNs is that we're choosing life and them niggas are choosing death. That's what it is. That's what it is at the end of the day. This is why you got the 1/3 of Israel who are to be saved and the 2/3 of Israel who are not to be saved. It can't be happenstance. It can't be happenstance and coincidence that, I would run into all this information in the Bible after experiencing what I've experienced dealing with niggas. And having experienced that, knowing all skin folk ain't kinfolk, knowing they not like us, knowing they the 2/3 that's to be destroyed. A place like this, and mentally, that's the dividing line. That's the dividing line. That's where, you know what I'm saying? Because, it'd be fucking me up too as a black man, because I bet Brad and Jorge didn't have to go through what we had to go through. Because I'm pretty sure, and in fact, I know for a fact they get ostracized too. When they over here being weird and doing. But the thing is, when you a black kid, bruh, growing up in these inner cities, it's not like white world, like Whiteyville, where you can either be a jock or be a nerd, or being like on some Steve Urkel type shit. And I know Steve Urkel was black, but I'm just saying though, like, you can either join the football team or join the chess club, and if you join the chess club, you're just gonna be no, black world don't work like that, fam. It just don't. It don't. In black world, they want you gotta be out here doing the most. You gotta, like, Keisha got you out there doing the most. Even when you not joining no damn debate club or no chess club or no math club, you could be out there doing what I was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, that's crazy. I know y'all didn't see that, but there was this airplane whose lights just popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did it just... Because I figured at this range I would have seen it from miles away, and it's approaching me now. But it looked like its lights just popped on. I'm like, did you just turn your lights on? I'm pretty sure air traffic control officers wouldn't approve of that. Well, hell, what do I know? I'm not in air traffic control. So. And crash your plane if you want to, like that Goofy did. Yeah, like that Goofy did out in Washington. Because a lot of folks are saying now that not only was it a female pilot, but she didn't like being told what to do. She wanted to do her own thing, and not only did she kill everybody on board her crew, including herself, she killed everybody on the other plane. Like, damn. But me seeing the plight, and me having a whole village, yeah, that's what I was getting back to. It takes a village to raise a child. And like I said, all the people I had in my life that I had to be held accountable to. I had a whole gang of uncles and aunties to whom I was held accountable, as well as my grandmother, as well as my parents. So in other words, I'm a whole different breed. I'm a whole different type of YN. A YN who's being held accountable, being held responsible if I get out here and do something foolish. if I do something stupid. And I mean, even with the things that I did do that was stupid, things that I did do that got my ass whooped, none of that shit involved, that was just some typical, like, me, disobeying my parents type shit. And even when then, it would be like, I had this problem where I would just forget to do shit, and my mom wouldn't care, so she'd just whoop my ass regardless. I mean, I wasn't the type of nigga who would be like, my mother tells me to do something, and I'm like, hell no, I ain't finna do nothing. No, I would have got smacked across the lip talking to my mother like that. I'm just thinking about the discipline that I got, forgetting to do something or not doing it adequately enough. And then you juxtapose that to this YN who's not being held accountable, probably getting his ass beat, not being disciplined, just getting abused, probably don't have no kind of parents, much less they sing like they. I mean, and the thing about it is, I didn't know anything about this probably wasn't until 2012 that I finally understand the dichotomy, for lack of better words, because I know I probably used the whole wrong word. Basically, the dynamics, if you will, the optics, if you will, of the black community, the so-called black community, really the black matriarchy. And that shit goes back to, again, Colorado, now that we gonna, let me get on your ass for a minute, Colorado. You got all these little savages out here doing the same thing. Now, mind you, this is fast forward 3 generations after the fact. But one thing I noticed about your goofy ass Colorado is y'all idolize this movie called Boys in the Hood. And it be Latinos who be on that shit, right? But I thought y'all hated mayates, right? I mean, help me figure that one out for a minute. Help me figure that one out. You hate mayates, but y'all up here again wearing our fanfare, wearing our memorabilia, wearing Boys in the Hood, wearing Poetic Justice. All these films coming up out of Cali, because y'all want to represent y'all little West Coast, when really you in the middle of the damn country, for real. We ain't by no damn coast. And it's so funny because my kung fu instructor, whom I practice with online, because he lives all the way out in NYC, and I'm all the way out here in Colorado on Mountain Time. He said something pretty profound today. He said that, because I know they got dragon style kung fu out in Cali with Jung Luo. He's like the main representative out there in California. And I'm pretty sure he's my seafood out in New York is one of the main representatives of Lung Ying, amongst many other martial arts. But the crazy thing is, I just knowing Colorado too, knowing the Mountain West too. The Mountain West, not just Colorado, but as of the whole of the Mountain West, I would not be surprised, y'all. I would not be surprised if I'm probably the only representative of this rare style that's called Lung Ying, which means dragon shape. It's what we call dragon style kung fu. That and white eyebrow. So dragon kung fu and white eyebrow. Because Denver's got his kung fu schools, it's got his Wing Chun, it's got his and white crane and praying mantis. Now that I'm adding on to it, me being the sole representative of these styles of Lung Ying, Southern Dragon, white eyebrow, what else did I say? Southern praying mantis and white crane, as well as along with Wing Chun. Denver's got Wing Chun, it's got classic Shaolin. From what I've seen, I'm sure it's got Tai Chi. Apparently it's got a McDojo out here that claims to practice the internal styles, as well as these weird kung fu styles I know ain't nobody heard of, like Spider and Wolf Kung Fu. I'm like, yeah, y'all a whole McDojo. And I've heard reviews from their own students, former students, that they're a McDojo and a cult. And they be doing the most up in there, slamming. Folks be walking up out that dojo with broken wrists and all types of shit. Because they be getting slammed on the damn floor and shit. But yeah, anyway, back to my point about Boys in the Hood. Y'all love that movie. But let me ask you this, and I feel like I've asked y'all this too before. Did y'all get the message? Did you get the message? Because the message was, I mean, the whole story of Boys in the Hood, it's really a story of survival. That's exactly what it is. And that's pretty much, I mean, you could almost say that's how I live. You know, thankfully, I didn't have no friends, none to my knowledge anyway, who got their whole beak blown off and dealing with the ops, or somebody who made them be the ops, you know, with Ricky getting shot. But, you know, there was a scene where, you know, you had Furious Styles. What's dude's father? That was dude's father, played by Lawrence Fishburne. Who's the character played by Cuba Gooding Jr.? He was the main character. What was that nigga's name? Trey. So when Trey was a little nigga, basically a YN. I mean, he was a YN regardless, but I mean, when he was a little nigga, you know, before he grew up and he was like 17, and that community, they already having babies and shit that young. Because, you know, even Furious Styles was telling him how, you know, he was 17 when he had him. That's why he was 34. And, you know, Trey was like 17 type shit, because he had him at 17. And, you know, he was telling him, like, he was telling his son, he was telling Trey how back then. So I imagine back in the 70s type shit, when Furious Styles was a YN, how he had friends out there, you know, robbing and stealing and even killing. And he was talking about how, you know, I got a son on the way, man. I can't be doing all that. I can't be doing all that nigger fuckery and all that bullshit. But one thing that does stick out to me now that I'm much older, because it went right over my head as many times as I've seen Boys in the Hood, and I really don't like watching it a whole lot, because it's a real fucked up movie. Just seeing what happened to Ricky, that in and of itself. But you know, that's reality. That's the community, and that's, again, and Ricky wasn't even, you know, y'all could, especially in today's time, Ricky would have been a lame. Knowing you niggas today, even with him being a football player, Duke was a football player. Know what I'm saying? I guess you could almost say he was an out of the way type of nigga, even though he did have he had a son. You know, he up here winning football scholarships so he can go to UCLA or USC, whatever. And in today's time, he would have been a lame. And he got his beak blown off. But you know, Furious, when Trey was a little boy, when he was like 10 or 11, he was telling his, you know, Furious was telling Trey, you know, to, you know, basically do as he asked. He was asking him basically to rake these leaves. I want you to rake these leaves. And once you're done raking the leaves, I want you to mow the lawn type shit. And then, you know, Trey was kind of giving them, lip and attitude. And he was like, don't give me that look. When I ask you to do something, do it. And then later on that night, and all his friends right now, they were like, man, your dad mean than a motherfucker. I feel sorry for you. So they went on and played ball and did whatever, doing. So later on, he still has Trey doing chores. Like he had to wash the dishes or whatnot. And it was then that Furious explained, Lawrence Fishburne's character explained to, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character that, you may think I'm trying to be hard on you, but I'm not. I'm actually trying to teach you how to be responsible, because your little friends out there ain't got nobody to do that. Because the thing that set Trey apart from all his other little friends is that he had a father. Anybody catch that? Did any of y'all catch that? As much as y'all idolize Boys in the Hood, I'm talking about a movie that's like from the damn early 90s, like well over. How old is that damn movie? I'm willing to say what 34 years old? Right? Am I right? Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, a movie that's 34 years old, fam. And you got YNs today wearing shirts out here, bro. I'll tell you, bro, they weird like that out here, fam. They weird like that. It's goofy as shit out here, fam. And we all fuck with Boys in the Hood type shit, but I mean, to be wearing shirts and all, like that's kind of doing a little bit a lot. That's kind of doing a lot. They go out of their way to do a lot out here, because they take that like, oh yeah, man, I'm supposed to be living like a gangster, man. I'm supposed to be keeping it cool, cuz. They stuck in the 90s. I bet the very city by what that created that movie, Boys in the Hood, they been moved the fuck on. They don't fuck with Boys in the Hood like that. That movie old as hell. It's old. It's old. It's ONs like me that, hold true to that, because yeah, I saw the value in the lessons, having watched that, and having seen it for the first time, as a 16-year-old boy myself, because it just happened to be on TV. But bro, that was the eye opener, as well as movies like Tales from the Hood, about our plight in life as black men, which I very much understood very well as a 16-year-old boy, because I didn't fuck with a whole lot of you niggas like that. I just didn't. Because y'all niggas was just like Ferris and his little crew, who gunned down Ricky. I mean, a lot of us didn't even have the benefit of Doughboy on there, played by Shay Shay, or Ice Cube, if you will. We didn't even have that cool. A lot of us didn't even have that cool nigga who was like, he did his dirt, he did, but end of the day, he was just like real cool, and he didn't really want ninjas like us fucking with her. Because I mean, the niggas like that were real. I have met them before, but we didn't have a whole lot of them. Whereas, they go out of their way to make sure that you ain't in them streets bullshitting like they doing, trapping and shit. Because they like, nah, bro, this ain't for you, bro. No, you smarter than this. You way better than this. And they'll be knee deep in it. So what does that tell us? So what does that tell us? The fact that, and didn't I tell y'all, like I said, man, did not tell y'all, again, it's probably in my archives, I don't even know this. For a group of people, for a group of black men who are so goofy and lame, didn't I tell y'all one time back when I was stuck in the sweatshops of Memphis and I had one of these little convicts come up to me and ask me what I'm studying, and I had this book on chemical engineering. And y'all do y'all if I told y'all this, I can't really confirm whether or not I did, but do y'all remember what I said, what that brother said? He said to me, this ex-con, this ex-Pookie who was just now trying to figure his life out, I wish somebody had come to me about like things like chemical engineering so that I wouldn't have been out, so that I wouldn't be out in these streets bullshitting. I'm not making this shit up, y'all. Bro, I had a partner at AutoZone, fam. I had a coworker, uh, an ex-Glocktavius, told me the same shit. Niggas, so I'm talking about, bro, I'm talking about niggas from South Memphis, bro, working at AutoZone, trying to start their life over again at 23. Been in the shit, been bullshitting. I know this because he told me that he was out there with his boys shooting, shooting at the ops. And what did he tell me? It's stupid. It's stupid. It's bullshit. I'm not up here whistling no bullshit, fam. And I'll tell man, y'all gonna bro, y'all gonna trip out, man. When it comes to so-called lame ass niggas and females, if you a YN, let me let you in on a little secret, fam. Let me let you in on a little secret. Take it from me, bruh. I'm the textbook definition of basically a swole ass Steve Urkel, pretty much. I'm basically Steve Urkel with muscles. And that's okay, that is perfectly fine because I've striven to be that. I wanted the brains and the bronze. It ain't good enough for me to just be skinny and smart or swole and dumb. No. It ain't good enough for me to be a musclehead, and it ain't good enough for me to be just a bookworm, a brainiac who can barely bench press 90 pounds. No, I wanted them both. And I've always been like that. I always wanted to be the nigga who could bench press 300 some pounds and basically make a perfect score on the SAT. But you know, down south we got more of the ACT. Damn near a perfect score. And that's what I strive to this day. And bro, words cannot describe. I wish, bro, I know I can't. I wish I could show you YNs, the type of females I was pulling. And I'm going to tell you another thing. I'm going to go and be honest with y'all. At some point in my life, I got fed up and I almost did buckle under the pressure of being a YN. I don't know if I told y'all that. See, I called myself, like I said, I don't want to go into disclose too much information because, like I said, you know, it ain't, you know, I mean, what's crazy too is I'm an out of the way nigga and I still got ops out here, bro. It's weird as fuck. And I don't even gangbang like that. But there was a point in my life I was on some rolling 20s type shit. I was. And I wasn't slanging and banging. I wasn't doing none of that shit. As yet. That I'm just telling y'all that would have been the set that I would have joined, the rolling 20s. And I'm not gonna tell y'all, just for the sake of keeping the peace, I'm not gonna tell y'all whether that was the rolling 20s Bloods or the rolling 20s Crips. But I was on that time at one point, giving into the stereotypes, thinking that maybe if I present myself as, you know what I'm saying, as a little rough, and people, I'm here to tell you, that was the time I wasn't getting none of the females. The key is to be yourself. And if Keisha ain't fucking with you like that, fuck that bitch. Because you already know. I can tell you what's going to happen to that bitch who's, ridiculing you because you ain't, because she think you ain't hood enough. She going to get with some lame ass nigga, some pookie ass nigga. And he either going to get shot, end up in jail, or end up in hell. And if he is out in the street, he going to end up in the wheelchair just like that nigga. People, I've seen it, bro. I've seen niggas in wheelchairs, bro. I lived in an apartment complex. It was a nigga in a wheelchair. How you think he got there? The same way the nigga Boys in the Hood got there. He got shot. And it hit his spine. And the nigga is he's paralyzed for life. So I would say, reason why I get on Colorado's ass so much about that gloating Boys in the Hood is because y'all obviously ain't learned the lesson, bro. I mean, and there's so many lessons in there. I live Boys in the Hood, and I've never even been close to California. No, I live Boys in the Hood on the streets of Memphis. And it's like the church folks used to say, if it hadn't been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? I probably would have been in the grave, because I've been robbed before, fam. Working at AutoZone, trying to make my way up out the hood. Yeah, I got robbed. We got robbed. I'm up here finna take a bullet for the zone, AutoZone. Ain't that fucked up? But I'm just saying, like, when it came to these females, they like who they like. And if they like you, they like you. And if they don't, they don't. And you being a thug ass nigga, I mean, it's not gonna change a thing. I wish you niggas would realize that. I wish somebody would come out and say that shit, so that YNs out here come to the realization that they don't have to be, no street ninja. Because it kind of reminds me of one of Seafood's most recent videos about this whole goofy, right? This whole nutty ass nigga, a whole lame, and he was frustrated, like, oh man, I don't get girls. Everybody disrespects me. I'm gonna be a street ninja. I'm gonna be a street ninja just like Seafood. Yeah. He was getting the perks, and he was getting a little bit of clout. And then, they had the little fine Asian girl. Yeah, like that happens in the hood, right? Ain't no big booty Korean girls in no damn hood. Not in the hoods of Memphis, it ain't. Shit. You might just find a big booty Vietnamese girl, and I'm telling y'all that because I've seen it. With long ass nails, with long ass nails and a BBL, bro. I'm from Memphis, y'all. You can't tell me otherwise what goes on in these streets out here, fam. I've seen anything you think you to say. I've seen it, fam. I've seen he-she's. I've seen, like I said, the gangbangers, bro. I'm amazed what I didn't see was just drive-bys and shit, or like niggas just being stretched out. That's the crazy thing, is that's the one thing I didn't see. But I've seen niggas getting into it, popping shots at each other. I mean, yeah, I've seen that. This Memphis, fam. Come on, bro. This the M-Town we talking about. But anyway, yeah, dude thought it was sweet. This whole lame ass cornball ass nigga. And it's sad too, because them be the main niggas who get caught up in their whole little anime world, and they be caught up in the video games, and then they think they can just get out. And the thing is, a lot of times they either live in the hood or they live, in close proximity to the hood. So once they kind of realize their situation, like, niggas disrespecting them not being able to get no numbers, they can't get no girls, none of that shit. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of traps they fall into, instead of recognizing their plight and accepting it for what it is. And just saying, okay, if I can't get you, Keisha, I'm just gonna have to suffer it out until I move on and go to a place where, you know what I'm saying, I can be accepted, where, you know, I will be accepted. Because I promise, and I'll tell you this, fam, I'll tell you this. I've started to realize this shit too. I might be a lame ass nigga in Memphis, but bruh, and people, I think Ock Nation pointed this out too. Like, when you come from a hood ass part of the country, and you go someplace else where they ain't got that kind of culture, or they just faking it, like, you know, you hear about these suburban ass kids calling themselves wanting to be hood and shit, bro, you will be the hoodest nigga on that block. And I'm pretty sure that's how I feel. That's how everybody look at it, because everybody be looking at me like, yeah, like I'm a real street ninja. On God, they do. Like, because I mean, these are some nosy, trying motherfuckers anyway, but they know, like, they know better than that. They take one look at me, like, especially they goofy ass females out here. They took it one look at me and run the other way. I'm like, yeah, you better run. This ain't that. Think you fucking with? This ain't that, man. This ain't that. Crazy, right? And I ain't been blessed in no gang. I ain't did none of that shit, fam. I ain't did none of that shit. I'm just a nigga who just happened to grow up in the hood. I had no choice. Because, like I said, my neighborhood turned into the hood. It was a neighborhood. It was an affluent neighborhood. And then it just became the hood. That's what happened. But yeah, this dude, you know, he tired of being a square. He tired of being a lame and a goofy. So he get with seafood in his clique. And then, you know, he starts seeing the perks of being a street ninja, the fine Korean girl with the big old booty walking up talking about she gonna line him up with somebody. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the girls. I'm finally gonna get the girls. And then guess who pull up a little bit after that? The ops. The ops pull up. And next thing you know, they up here swinging fists. Yeah, like they do that today. They up here engaging in fisticuffs. And next thing you know, one of the ops pull out a blick. And yeah, that changed his whole world. That changed his whole world, seeing one of his homeboys, or seeing one of Seafood's homeboys, like he said, get his shit jellied. No, that's that Philly talk. Seeing one of his homeboys get killed. That changed his whole mind. But he was like, Seafood was like, fuck that, bro. One of ours went down. We gonna come back and get one of theirs. And he didn't really want to do it because, like I said, I'm like, yeah, you a whole lame, bro. You don't know how, like, you ain't used to this shit. So it's a damn shame when, you like I said, you got real nerdy cats who ain't got no kind of street knowledge. Couldn't tell a killer apart from a drug dealer, like I can. Because I can look into a motherfucker's eyes. I can look into a motherfucker's soul and see if they killed somebody before. I can tell the killers. I can tell just by looking at a motherfucker who done killed somebody before. Memphis will do that to you. And you'd be amazed too. It ain't, a lot of times it'll be like niggas, like, usually they just look pissed off, but you'll be amazed, man. It'll be the ones who look like they cool with everybody. I'm like, bro, them the niggas will get you lined up. Like, they ain't gonna do the lining up, they gonna get you lined up. I've lived it, fam. I've lived it. 27 years in the M-Town. So I know firsthand. I mean, I can't speak on growing up, but I mean, I grew up in America as a black man, and my stomping grounds were Memphis 10. So how much more that can be compared to contrast to like Sean James growing up in the Bronx of NYC and all that goofy shit be going upstate up there in the Big Apple, or in as well as ghettos all across America. Hell, I dare even say even here type shit, whether it's Aurora, Montbello, and what a nigga got to experience out here. Like I said, the ghettos across America, and what black men have to face who are trying to accomplish something in life, trying to, enter into our gifts first of all, discovering our gifts, second of all, entering into our gifts, and what we all have to face as a collective in that, in that transformation process. Because, the gifts that I have just ain't the gifts of the typical Negro. I can't cut hair. I can't play ball. I mean, I can cook. That would have been a side hustle. But, being a cook in the hood and making cheese, we already know what the story is. We already know what the story is. Niggas will be hating. I can't tell you how many times niggas done tried to set up establishments in the hood, and they got some, know what I'm saying? They got some little barbecue thing going, and they end up getting Swiss cheese because they got hating ass ninjas. Ninjas just hating on them. So it's a test. I'm here to tell y'all, fam. It's a test of endurance. Whether you realize it or you don't realize it, it's coming your way. You find yourself stuck in one of these ghettos, fam, and it's just like that scripture said. You can either choose life, the path less taken, the path less traveled, or you can choose death by sticking with your boys, making these niggas your boys, and your boys out here doing the most, robbing, stealing, getting into it with the cops, getting into it with the ops, seeing your boys get shot the fuck up, seeing your boys get locked up, seeing yourself get shot up or locked up. And then let me tell you YNs about another little detail that the community likes to omit willingly. They willingly omit this little aspect of jail, because you think you lucky if you just go to jail, like you don't go to hell, but you go to jail. Let me tell you a little thing about jail, fam. Let me tell you something about jail. See, I got cats. I'm running the cats out here. Niggas a little bit younger than me. And I mean, he's a white boy too. And this generation, you little niggas can't fight. Apparently, you little niggas these days, you YNs, you can't fight. Y'all up here, showing your blicks and all this other type shit, but you can't throw no jab. So that's gonna be a problem for you when you get in the pen, because when you get in the pen, you ain't gonna have your little blicks when you up here flashing your money, flashing your little guns, trying to impress these little bitches out here. And word has it, got from him, because he knows he's got boys in the pen who was telling him, because he was like 28 at the time. I'm pretty sure he's probably like 29 now. Yeah, I know I got like 10 years on him. That these little niggas going in the houses and killing everybody in there with Dracos, and then they get in the pen. They're telling him, they're telling us that you niggas can't fight like that. So you gonna be out here doing the most with soft targets, which is some bitch ass shit, targeting little kids, ladies, folks who ain't got nothing to do with your fucked up lifestyle. Back in the day, they called them civilians, and the gangbangers even then, back then, had enough sense to know that was doing that shit was a no-no. You go after your ops. You don't go after civilians. Much less no little kids and no old folks. You gonna go up into that pen, you can't fight. Guess what you think is gonna happen? You gonna get taken advantage of. You gonna get your ass beat. You gonna get exploited. And worst of all, I'm here to tell you, your lack of muscle mass having ass, your non-muscle mass having ass, your gun wielding ass until you get in the pen ass, you getting your cheeks took, fam. They taking your butt. You getting butt fucked. You getting butt fucked the way I would butt fuck a female bodybuilder, i.e. female bodybuilder. Because I'm waiting, hey, I'm waiting for my turn too. I can't, y'all probably dying laughing. So, yeah, I told y'all about I got this sick twisted fetish, and I proclaim to this day I ain't got a gay bone in me. But I'll tear some female muscle booty up in a heartbeat, prison style. And I'm waiting my time, bro. Cause the way I see it, I ain't getting no younger. And I've always been like that, fam. I've always been like that. I think one of my first, sexual fantasies, growing, because, us being sexual beings, I know we, have at some point our sexual development. That's when we kind of be doing weird, gross stuff like, being on some Oedipus complex type shit, being sexually attracted to our mother, just some weird, real weird developmental biology type stuff. But one of those things was, and it stuck. It never went away. Was getting with a female that's basically swole. Because I didn't think, I was stupid at the time. I didn't know no better because I was young as hell. But I didn't realize females could get jacked like that, on or off the juice. Hey, goofy ass Denver PD rolling around. So I'm gonna go and head back because it's about closing time anyway. So yeah, let me go and get out of here before Denver pedophile patrol get out here. I mean, I doubt he saw me, but because I highly doubt they have the same depth perception I do. Because I can pick a nigga off from miles away. I was just thinking about that shit too. It's crazy that if I did join the military, I would have been the perfect sniper, bro. I got 2010 vision. I would have been the perfect sniper. But with me being a nigga and all, they probably would have just had me thrown in infantry, basically just doing on some basic type shit, not taking advantage of any of the clear and obvious advantages that I have, like my sight, like my languages and all that shit. That's again one of America's original sins was treating me like a nigga, and I kind of use that as a smokescreen on some ninja shit. But yeah, all bullshit aside, with me talking about my fetish for very muscular broads, and not necessarily weightlifting broads, because that don't count. I was just talking that like she would have to be like a female bodybuilder, and it can get gross at times, and usually that's why I prefer them to be natties. But again, all bullshit aside, You doing the most. You out here doing all that fuck shit. Be ready, and Sean James talks about it all the time. Get ready to meet Tiny and Bubba. Get ready to meet a nigga twice my size can bench press twice as much as I can bench press. Cause I damn near bench press 300. There's gonna be niggas up in there bench pressing 600. There's plenty of swole motherfuckers up in there doing life with the same fuck shit you did, but he come from a different era, and he a real tough ass nigga. You a fake tough ass nigga. These some real tough ass niggas who ain't seen a woman's behind and I don't know how long, ain't seen a get in I don't know how long. So you coming in there bringing your little bony ass up in there thinking it's gonna be sweet type shit, right? And I'm here to tell you it's not. And that is why us prominent black men and black boys have gone out of our way to stay away from ninjas like you. Because y'all live and lead a lifestyle that basically just is the path to destruction. I mean, if being sent to hell via the cops or the ops shouldn't deter you from living this goofy ass lifestyle, I would most definitely think getting caught up in the jailhouse in the booty house would. You over there sharing bunks. You over there sharing bunks with the savages, with all kinds of rapists, killers, and homosexuals looking at you, lusting after you. The way, men normally lust after, females. Because in their eyes, you is a female. You the closest thing to a woman they gonna get. Why even position your life like that? Why would you even do that? And these are questions that I've been asking ever since at least 1993, if not 94, 95, around that era. Well over 30 years. Who in their right mind wants to live the plight of a black man, assuming that is the black man's plight? I'm like, that's a plight that sucks. That, my friend, sucks. And being a black man who's been exposed to black men, such as my father, who had to go through the trenches to get his master's degree and teach so that he could teach at on a higher, collegiate level instead of teaching the savages of Memphis in these damn high schools. I'm not going to be having no kind of proximity around you like that. Especially at my age. Come on, fam. I'm 40, for God's sakes. I'm not in my teens no more. I'm not in my 20s no more. Hell, I'm not even in my 30s no more. And even though I'm still 39, I see myself as a 40-year-old. Because 40 is just 6 months away. You really think I'm going, after seeing 3 generations of this quote-unquote real nigga culture, that I'm going to be engaging with you niggas like that? Already haven't made the mistakes that I've made. And that's what the Coloradan doesn't seem to understand. Like, nigga, I mean, y'all got y'all's history. Y'all got like that goofy ass. I hear about this whole thing about the violent summer of '93. Some shit well over 30 years ago. Okay, what did you learn from that? Because I promise you, bro, whatever the violent summer of '93 was, the fact that it happened in the summer, and wasn't there some shit where maybe 30, 40 folks got killed? Nigga, try my city. Try my city. Juxtapose that to my city where hundreds of people get killed. It's a good year if 100 motherfuckers get killed in Memphis. I dare say 200. Because where I'm from, shit, it's gonna be at least 300, fam. And for a city Memphis size, that's pretty fucked up. But another story for another time. But yeah, we ain't gonna be coming around you like that. And we damn sure gonna demand separate after finally seeing y'all, these YNs and the whole YN culture, for the losers that y'all are. And the crazy thing is, y'all was making us out to be the losers. We weren't the losers, Keisha. We was your best bet. Because I know the black community don't do this, but every other community and culture values their intellect, that values their intellectuals, values their thinkers. Y'all are the only race of people on this damn planet that disrespects them, that reviles them, that reviles your presidents of the chess club and math club. And I think I was just thinking about this shit too. I think I know why y'all be hating on so-called lames, educated lames. And I think I finally figured out why. Your disdain, your revile for us who chose a different path instead of being on some clown ass shit, on some coon ass shit, on some thug ass shit. You just hate us because you ain't us. You hate us because you ain't got the brains or the discipline to do what we do. Because you can't sit up here and tell me that I'm jealous and envious of Pookie. Yes, Pookie got his perks. Yes, Pookie can damn near get any kind of female. And yes, he can even get him a little bit of change out there trapping and slaying. But all that's temporary, because like I said, look what's Keisha. Look what's Gloctavius's fate. If he lucky, I dare say if he lucky, the most that'll happen is that he'll get ran through by the child support system. Because again, this Keisha we talking about. Worst case scenario, he going to hell via the cops or the ops, or he going to the booty house. And the main problem with the booty house, the number one problem of the booty house, it ain't no female booty up in there. Besides the COs, the far and few COs, that's gonna be your best, your closest thing. Spitting game at these ugly ass, pudgy looking ass COs. And they just loving it too, because they getting all the attention, because they know they the sexiest thing up in there. Because yeah, they're the only option of a woman up in there. And the toughest of the tough is who gets them. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? When you could have taken a different path, not done all that fuck shit, taken the path less traveled, and got chose up by a whole baddies from Europe, baddies from Asia, that CO in there, that overweight fat black CO in there, ain't got no kind of, compared to her, it ain't no kind of contest. None. But this how America fucks us. I say us as a collective. They fuck all of us like that. And I guess it never really dawned on a lot of y'all that we've been peeping game. We've been seeing the forest for the trees. We've been seeing the banana in the tailpipe, if you will. It was all a facade. All a facade. Cause I remember when I was a teenager, how mad and frustrated I was that Keisha wasn't giving me no kind of play. And now how glad I am that Keisha didn't give me no play. Memphis Keisha of all Keishas. Come on, fam. Bruh. I'm telling y'all, man. And they wouldn't even fine like that. It ain't nothing worse than being in the whole gene pool, a whole cesspool, with the far and few Keisha swearing they the sexiest thing up in there. Because they probably are up in there. And then you finally get a chance to leave that. And then you really get to see just how fine and sexy women can get. You know, outside the U.S., of course. Hashtag passport bros, by the way. So y'all got to see it for the. We as a collective, we have to see all this for the chess game that it is, man. It's a whole setup, and it just may have been movies. It just may have been movies like Tales from the Hood and Boys in the Hood. Movies like that, right? That probably most likely it was movies like that that put me on game, because I've been hip to it. I've been hip to it. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't know entirely what was going on, but I've been hip to it. I was like, something just ain't right. Something ain't right, and ain't nobody telling me nothing. Because you know that's what they do. They love, our enemies love to throw their rocks and hide their hands. They love to make sure that the left hand don't know what the right hand is doing. Yeah, they some crafty motherfuckers. So our best bet is to respond in kind, for real. That's what I say. Our best bet is to stay out of the way, stay in the shadows, and build. And then once we build, get our ticket, stay out of the way, stay away. Hey, stay away from these cops, stay away from these ops. To the best of our ability, of course. So that if the cops or the ops show up, like, yeah, they can see that, yeah, they got the wrong guy. And if they want to, because, with these cops in these days, man, on that false accusation type shit, with them looking for a conviction type shit, we gonna have to fight them. We just gonna have to fight them motherfuckers in the courts and make sure that we have all the shit. Make sure that we have all the things needed in courts to fight them damn false accusers. Cause I'm all for snatching. I'm all for snatching badges out these bullshit ass police officers. I'm all for defunding the motherfucking police. Cause we don't need motherfuckers like that, fam. We really don't. These bullshit ass cops that we got out here today, and the cops and the ops are almost damn near one and the same. That's another thing you realize. How they're damn near one and the same, because all they give a fuck about are their conviction rates. Their whole goal is to get your black ass up in the jail. That's the name of the game. That's the setup. And who better than Keisha to shame you for being less than a nigga who does get locked the fuck up for being out here doing the most. It's a whole goddamn setup. So who in the hell would want to be associated with goofies? You know what I'm saying? Especially at my age, goofies who are either in the game or goofies who got fucked by the game. Just like that goofy I met last week that I got on YouTube and ranted about. Motherfuckers like him. I don't need to know his story. I mean, he a dusty fuck nigga out in the streets yelling at random niggas because they niggas. I report, y'all decide, right? You can't make this shit up. Y'all know I ain't lying. And that's exactly what happens. He probably got it I don't know if he got it the worst or best, due to the fact that he's still alive. He was probably out here running with his boys and all this other type shit and got in and out the system. Now he can't find a job. He ain't got no source of income and he out in the streets a bum. Talking shit to niggas like me. Because I tell you what probably burned him up is the fact that, you know what I'm saying, fam? There are a lot of videos on YouTube about body game. I think we talked about body game too. And I'm here to tell you that shit is real, fam. Now these goofy ass females probably ain't responding to a nigga, and that's okay because I don't want them like that either. I told y'all I want some monster females. I want some females that can damn near bench press what I bench press. We're some tig old biddies. That's who I want. And that's basically who I'm saving myself for. And I'll just save myself for that if or until I age out. I mean, if I age out, it is what it is. But I was like, I'll be like, you knew the terms, you knew the conditions. I wasn't finna settle for no Keishas. Unless it was a bodybuilder Keisha. FBB Keisha. Yeah, I would. Because there's some, I know Big Bro AC tells us not to, but there is something in me that kind of wants me to dominate the black woman sexually. And I figure, okay, if I'm going to do that type shit, she going to have to be bad than a motherfucker type shit. And I will not settle for less because, like I said, I've been spoiled. I've already been shown. I've already been chosen by baddies, many of whom were black. So I know what I'm capable of attracting. That's why being a whole YN, much less a thug ass nigga, is a whole, is a whole hoax. For real, for real, for real. It's a hoax. It's some bullshit. Because you can do all that bullshit, and at the end of the day, she don't fuck with you like that. So I was like, okay, what was the point of it? They lied to you. They lied to all. They lied to us all. So, like I said, man, this is the end game. The end game being the day of the Geet, like I said in the last video, the day of the Geechee is gone, and many of you Negroes are going with it. Because as a collective, the black race, what's worth a damn of the black race, we can't use you no more. If we could use you at all, we just have no use for you. So it's been time to separate from bullshit ass niggas like you. Fighting each other, beefing with each other. You won't raise a hand to that white man though. I just saw a meme about that shit too, about two niggas bumping into each other and they was up here like nigga up here talking about pulling out his blick and shit. Or about fighting a nigga, a white man bump into him. He like, oh, I'm sorry. Now he all cordial and shit. Like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. You niggas are really like that. I'm here to report how you niggas really are. Y'all are like that. You will fight somebody that looks like you, but when it comes to the red man, the white man, the brown man, you won't bust a grape. You niggas won't bust a grape. And I'm like, what's up with that? I'll bust a grape on anybody's ass, fam. I don't give a fuck. I'll fuck this Asian man up. I'll fuck this white man up. I'll fuck this Indian man up. I'll fuck this Hispanic man up. Yeah, I always had to catch myself. I always had to catch myself, man. I almost said, I'll definitely fuck this. I said, I'll most def fuck this other. No. These fish don't discriminate. That's my point. Before I get into trouble. And I'll fuck y'all up. I'll fuck you niggas up. These hands, like, yeah. Anybody can catch these hands. These hands don't discriminate, fam. I don't give a flying motherfucker. But when it comes to you niggas, y'all rather just fight each other. I'm like, but when it comes to other people of other races, you ain't busting a grape. That's that, and I'm here to tell y'all another thing of this so-called YN culture and thug culture. That's coward shit. That's pussy ass shit. But that's how y'all are. That's how y'all are. And whether you justify it because you think that if I get into it with this nigga, the consequences won't be so dire. Whereas if I fuck up this white boy, they will, because it'll be him in the favor. I mean, I'll tell y'all this much, at least whether or not Carmelo, because I'm not even gonna get into the debate of whether or not Carmelo Anthony was justified. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But I will say this. At least what's his name wasn't, at least bro was standing on business when it came to who can get it. Carmelo Anthony didn't give a fuck that his attackers were white. Again, I'm not defending Carmelo Anthony, so y'all miss me with that shit. I'm neutral. Like I said, I'm the referee. I'm just pointing out the play that was made. That's one example of a black kid busting a grape on a white kid. Something a lot of you bitch ass niggas just will not do, but y'all fight each other all day. And I'm here to tell you that's fake, that's phony, and that's coward shit. And I'll tell you something. The middle part, the beginning part was bitter. The middle game was bitter, but I'm here to tell y'all the end game gonna be sweet than a motherfucker when we leave you niggas by the wayside. That shit gonna be sweet than a motherfucker. Just like Sergeant Water said. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off. One of my roommates over here, I'm probably waking his ass up. Let me go and get off. Let me go and get off the tube. I guess I'll catch y'all in the next vid. Cause like I said, the day of the Geechee is gone, and you buck dancing, bojangling, step and fetch it. Oh, I'll fight any nigga, but I won't fight a man outside my race. Buck dancing shine bones. Y'all are going with it, and I'm here to tell y'all, it's a day. It's been a long time coming for that shit. Been a long time. So catch y'all in the next video. I'm out.